Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today, my partner and I will present our research entitled Perception Among Students in Alpha College Technology Seremban on Unemployment. My name is Amira Shazwani binti Suhaimi and my partner name is Nurfara Diba binti Muhammad Razak.
As we know that the graduate unemployment is not a hot new issue, this case, however, should not be taken lightly, as according to Education Minister Dr. Maslim Malik, after 1 year of graduation, nearly 60% of first graduates and above remain unemployed. Past research shows several factors influencing unemployment among fresh graduates. This study was conducted to examine about perception of unemployment among Alpha College of Technology students in Seremban. It examines the relationship between graduate attitudes, experience, which is work and life, employability skills, and job mismatching towards unemployment among fresh graduates.
Now we move to the problem statement. According to the Berita Harian 2019, the Statistics Department of Malaysia state that in the first quarter of 2019, as many 516,600 unemployed was reported. At the same time, the Peninsular Labour Department has registered an active job seeker for a total of 238,286 employees with 174,327 graduates. Second, according to a survey by UNESCO 2012, global unemployment in 2010 compared to 5.6% in 2007 grew up 6.2%. It has therefore contributed to a highly competitive environment for young people. Third, it was mentioned by INA 2007, throughout Malaysia, the issue of unemployment was a very observable phenomenon. High youth unemployed lead to total unemployment in Malaysia recorded. Next, the newspaper Straits Times also stated that the Higher Education Ministry announced that 1/4 of the students did not seek job at graduation in 2012, and almost 1/5 become unemployed in 2012 by students under age 25. Lastly, Ismail 2011 has mentioned that the number of students entering higher education institution has increased from 412,000 and 178,000 in 2014 to 432,000 and 296 in 2018. This will cause them to compete with each other to get a job after graduation. Moving to the research objective and research question. There are 4 research objectives in this study. First, to examine the relationship between graduates' attitude and unemployment among fresh graduates. Second, to analyze the relationship between experience and unemployment among fresh graduates. Third, to determine the relationship between employability skills and unemployment among fresh graduates. Lastly, to identify the relationship between job mismatching and unemployment among fresh graduates. Meanwhile, for the research question is the reflection of the research objective. Next, conceptual framework. There are 4 independent variables that we use, which are graduates' attitude, experience, employability skills, and job mismatching. Meanwhile, in the dependent variable that we use is unemployment among fresh graduates. Next, moving to the hypothesis statement. There are 4 parts of hypothesis statement. First, the rationale of graduates' attitude is there is no significant difference between graduates' attitude and unemployment among fresh graduates. For H alternative is there is significant difference between graduates' attitude and unemployment among fresh graduates. Second part is experience. For the H null is there is no significant difference between experience and unemployment among fresh graduate. H alternative, there is significant between experience and unemployment among fresh graduate. Third, employability skill. H null, there is no significant difference between employability skill and unemployment among fresh graduate. For H alternative, there is significant difference between employability skills and unemployment among fresh graduates. And lastly, job mismatching. H alternative, there is no significant difference between job mismatching and unemployment among fresh graduates. And for the H alternative, there is no significant difference between job mismatching and unemployment among fresh graduates. Now we move to research method. First, research design. We use quantitative approach based on the primary data of the students in Alpha College Technology. We also use cross-sectional sampling in this study. Second, unit of analysis. Students, which refer to the undergraduate students of Alpha College of Technology, Seremban. Third, sample size. We use rule of thumb where a minimal sample size of 30 for each category is necessary, and for most studies, sample size greater than 30 and less than 500 are suitable. Next, we got sample size as much 300 respondents from students from Alpha College of Technology, Seremban. Next, we move to the sampling technique. We use purposive sampling in non-probability sample. According to Crossman 2017, purposive sampling is a form of non-probability sample that was selected based on population characteristics and study objective. We also use novel sampling technique where we give the link of Google form to the non-student who study at the Alpha College Technology and ask them to blast the Google form. Next, the data measurement. Independent variable Likert scale was used in the question. Meanwhile, for the dependent variable, use multiple choice in the question. For the data collection, there are 5 sections in the Google Form questionnaire, which are Section A, respondent information, Section B, graduate's attitude, Section C, experience, Section D, employability skills, and lastly, Section E, job mismatching. Lastly, the data analysis, which are the method that we use to analyze the result.
Based on the demographic profile table, for the first category, which is gender, the highest respondent is female with 215 respondents, consists of 71.7%. Next, the majority of respondents are in the age of 22 years old and above, with 240 respondents, consists of 77.1%. Basically, the majority answering the questionnaires are 291 respondents, accounted for 97% comes from degree qualification. Besides, for the year of study, the highest number is respondent from the non-final year with 193 students, consists of 64.3%. Then, the highest respondents who are CGPA 3.00 to 3.49 answering these questionnaires with 153 respondents, consists of 51%. Finally, the greatest number of students in knowing the concept of unemployment is 213 respondents, consists of 71%. For the first objective, it shows that the p-value is 0.024, which is less than 0.05. Therefore, there is a significant relationship between graduates' attitude and unemployment among fresh graduates. For the second objective, it shows that the p-value is 0.086, which is greater than 0.05. Hence, there is no significant relationship between experience and unemployment among fresh graduates. Furthermore, for the third objective, it shows that the p-value is 0.845, which is greater than the value of 0.05. So, as a result, there is no significant relationship between employability skills and unemployment among fresh graduates. Finally, for the last objective, it shows that the p-value is 0.00, which is less than 0.05. So, there is a significant relationship between job mismatching and unemployment among fresh graduates. For the implication of the study, First, graduates need to change their attitudes. Graduates themselves must solve and change their attitude to be more positive in dealing with this problem. This is because positive attitudes and good behavior help them to deal with challenging working environments. Graduates should not be too picky when looking for a job but should accept whatever job they get and then strive to improve their skills. Second is the government needs to play an important role in overcoming this unemployment problem. For an example, government needs to increase the involvement of fresh graduates in the protege program for fresh graduates to overcome the problem of unemployment. By having this program, it will create more competitive and ready job marketers as well as skilled job seekers to meet the current industry needs. Next is partnering employers and universities to enhance graduate employability. Cooperation between employers and universities is important in improving the ability of graduates. For an example, Graduate Marketability Initiative by Talent Corp. It aims to raise awareness, provide exposure, and improve graduate workability. This initiative works more closely with firms and universities to train graduates to get a job. Lastly, educational pattern must be changed. Educational patterns need to be focused on vocational training, as according to Camel 2019, states that moving to vocational education may mean reducing the incompatibility between qualifications and need of the workforce. Vocational training tends to lead to a better transition of the workforce and the country that uses it at the curricular center. For the research limitation and future recommendation, first is quantitative studies lead to a lack of in-depth finding. This study uses a quantitative approach to collect data where the sample is not comprehensive. Often people may answering the questionnaire with less serious and rational. It is also important for researchers to determine that such findings produce quality results. Researchers have the potential to make mistakes in analyzing data because the study focuses entirely on the quantity of data rather than the content of the data. Therefore, the study should interview with the respondent to show that the results are more reliable and correct than using a questionnaire. Respondents interviewed will be more serious to respond more accurately in answering the questions. Second is the data collection process. The research done by researchers depend on access to people. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the researchers were unable to conduct a study using field-based method to distribute questionnaire to respondents at Alpha College of Technology. As we know that the distribution of questionnaire formally or face-to-face is easier because the researcher can ensure that all respondents answer the questionnaire and the result can be disseminated at the same time. As a recommendation, researchers must first cooperate with the Alpha College of Technology authorities. This is because cooperation with the college authorities help facilitate the dissemination of this questionnaire. This is because if the online survey is distributed by themselves, it will facilitate the process of ensuring that the respondents respond to the survey. In a conclusion, this research is done to know the perception of unemployment among fresh graduates. The problem of unemployment among fresh graduates can be seen in the perception of unemployment among Alpha College of Technology students in Seremban. As what has been shown in the conceptual framework, based on the findings stated that there is a significant relationship between graduates' attitude and job mismatching with unemployment among graduates, as it reveals significant results where the hypothesis is accepted by using cross-chi-square test. This study highlights the most important aspect of unemployment perception and provides several recommendations to handle the problems.